If you love being unsettled under the fairy lights, subscribe now. Because tonight we're unwrapping the monsters hiding in Christmas. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, and step slowly into the dark with us. Christmas gives us stockings, carols, and warm light. But for centuries, Northern Nights kept a darker guest. He comes with bells and a whip. He does not bring gifts. Before the jingles, before Santa, before lights wrapped neatly around suburban rooftops, Christmas was never a season of joy. It was a season of fear. Thousands of years ago, across the frozen lands of ancient Europe, winter wasn't a postcard fantasy. It was a threat. A long, merciless stretch of darkness, where the sun barely rose, the temperature could kill a man overnight, and every forest path hid something you prayed you would never meet. People believed one thing. The winter solstice was when darkness ruled the earth. Light was weak, shadows grew teeth, and anything that lived in the cold, human or not, grew hungry. Villagers would huddle close to their fires, listening to the wind hammering their wooden doors. But sometimes, the wind sounded almost like footsteps in the snow, slow, heavy, deliberate. Before Christmas existed, there was a much older festival, Yule. But Yule wasn't about celebration. It was about survival. Surviving the cold, surviving starvation, surviving disease, surviving whatever prowled in the dark. Winter was the season when death moved fastest. Elders collapsed quietly in their beds. Children didn't wake up. Hunters vanished in the forests. Whole families starved with smoke still rising from their chimneys. And when humans fear something long enough, they give it a name, a shape, a story. That's how winter monsters were born. The creature that drags children into the snow. The horned demon that climbs rooftops at night. The ice spirit that drinks the warmth from your breath. The shadow that leads lost travelers deeper into the forest, until they never return. When Christianity spread across Europe, it faced a problem. People were too attached to their winter rituals, too scared to abandon them. So the church didn't erase the ancient festival. It simply renamed it. Yule became Christmas. But dark folklore doesn't disappear. It adapts. It hides beneath decorations and hymns, waiting for night to fall. People say Christmas is a season of light, but historically, at the time, it has always been a battlefield. Light versus darkness, warmth versus death. And somewhere in that cold, ancient fear, the monsters of Christmas were born. The first creature lurking in the dark side of Christmas is also the most iconic. A monster older than Santa, older than Christianity, older than Christmas itself. His name is Krampus, half demon, half goat. Towering, horned, covered in black fur, with a tongue that drags across his chest. He doesn't just punish the naughty, he hunts them. The story begins in the Alps. In the frozen villages of Austria, Germany, and Slovenia, winter used to be unforgiving. Food was scarce. Nights were long. And parents needed a way, anyway, to stop children from wandering out into the deadly snow. So they created a warning. A creature walks in the dark. If you misbehave, it will find you. That creature became Krampus. Every December, villagers swore they heard bells echoing through the mountains. Not church bells, chains. Dragged across the frozen ground by something moving in the cold. The Night of Krampus. The legend says, on the night of December 5th, while St. Nicholas rewards the good, Krampus is unleashed. One brings gifts, the other brings pain. Krampus roams the streets carrying rusty chains, a bundle of birch sticks, and a wicker basket strapped to his back, big enough to fit a child. If you lied, cheated, stole, or disobeyed your parents, he wouldn't just scare you. He would whip you with the birch rods, lock you in chains, and toss you into his basket, where children were said to be taken into the woods and never seen again. Some stories say he ate them. Others say he dragged them to the underworld. But none of the endings are good. Real witness stories? Yes. Even today, in small alpine towns, people still claim they heard heavy hooves on their rooftops. They saw a tall, horned figure watching from the tree line. They heard chains, even when no one was outside. And every year on Krampusnacht, locals swear the temperature suddenly drops, as if something is walking past. Whether you believe it or not, this creature has survived for over 1,000 years. Folklore doesn't last that long without a reason. So when December arrives, and you hear bells outside your window, you might think it's Santa. But in the old legends, Santa only visits the good. For everyone else, Krampus comes first. High above the North Atlantic, on an island carved by volcanoes and endless snow, Christmas was never a gentle holiday. In Iceland, winter was brutal. So brutal that the people believed something walked across the frozen lava fields, hunting. Not one creature, but two, a giantess and her monstrous cat. This is the story of Gryla and the Yule Cat, two of the most terrifying Christmas predators in European folklore. Gryla, the mother of monsters. Before Iceland became Christian, there was already a name that made children stop crying instantly. Gryla, towering giantess. Older than the mountains she lived in. Skin as rough as volcanic rock. Eyes glowing like dying embers. And a hunger that woke every winter. Gryla wasn't a symbolic warning. She was a threat. The legend says she can hear misbehaving children through the snow, miles away. Their whining and screaming echo like footsteps leading straight to them. On Christmas season, she descends from her cave in the mountains, carrying a massive sack made of stitched animal hides. And with every winter storm, she hunts. If she catches a naughty child, she doesn't scold them. She doesn't drag them home. No. Gryla cooks them alive in a giant cauldron, making a stew that she eats throughout the dark Icelandic winter. Parents didn't tell this story for fun. They told it to keep children from wandering off into the lethal cold. Because back then, wandering actually meant death. But the worst monster isn't her. Because Gryla has a pet. A creature the size of a house. The ancient Icelanders called it Jólakötturinn, the Yule Cat. This wasn't a cute Christmas animal. It was a predator. Black fur, eyes that burn yellow in the dark, claws sharp enough to crack frozen earth. And unlike Gryla, the Yule Cat doesn't hunt naughty children, hackfruits. It hunts the lazy. According to tradition, if you didn't finish your winter chores, if you didn't help your family prepare before the storms, you wouldn't receive new clothes for Christmas. No new clothes? You were fair game. The Yule Cat would roam the fields, sniffing through the snow for anyone still wearing old, torn clothing, because that meant they didn't work hard enough. And when it found them, the cat devoured them whole. Some families even sewed new clothing in a panic, just to avoid the monster's jaws. Even today, Icelanders still give each other socks at Christmas. A tiny reminder of a massive beast lurking in their folklore. Gryla's family? Even worse. Some stories claim she has 13 sons. The Yule lads, mischievous spirits who sneak into homes during December. But their mother is the reason villagers locked doors and windows during storms. Whenever thunder echoed across the mountains, people whispered the same thing. She's awake. So when you think of Iceland at Christmas, beautiful snowfields, soft lights, peaceful villages, remember, in the old stories, Christmas wasn't peaceful at all. It was the season when a giantess roamed the mountains, when a monstrous cat prowled the fields, and when children prayed that this winter they wouldn't be on the menu. The snow has fallen, the carols fade, and yet, for the industrious, the cautious, the holiday is not over, because in the shadows of the alpine villages, another figure walks, Frau Perchta. Known as the belly slasher, she does not come for joy, she comes for laziness. On the 12th night, the 12th day after Christmas, Frau Perchta inspects every home. She watches, unseen, through windows frosted with ice, through cracks in the door, and she notices who has been idle, who has wasted their time, who has not completed chores. For the careless, she carries a blade, a long, cruel knife, and she does not hesitate. Stories say she slices open the belly of the lazy, removing the innards and stuffing them with straw. The obedient children? They remain safe. The industrious adults? They survive the long night. The spiderweb face. Artists of old imagined her face not as flesh, but a tangled web of spider threads, black lines crossing pale skin, eyes glinting through the strands. It is said that if you glimpsed her, your shadow would stiffen, your heartbeat would echo in your ears, and the world would fade to black and white. The moral of Frau Perchta: she is not merely a ghost or a demon. She is a mirror to human diligence, a warning in a season of indulgence. Be careful what you neglect. Every chore undone may be noticed. And in the cold night after Christmas, the belly slasher walks silently. The villagers tell tales so children would scrub the floors, weave their threads, feed the livestock, and maybe, just maybe, keep themselves alive. So when you think Christmas is all warmth and lights, remember Frau Perchta, the season's last visitor, the one who does not forgive idleness, the last turret. Black snow drifts, shadows twist, and somewhere, just beyond the hearth, the belly slasher watches. The snow is thinning, the fires are low, and yet, in the villages of Wales, something walks where you would least expect it. They call it Mari Lloyd, not a demon, not quite a ghost, but a spirit cloaked in death, mounted on the head of a horse. Mari Lloyd is not a creature of malice, at least not entirely. It is a trickster, a challenger of homes, a wanderer of dark winter nights. During the Christmas season, villagers would carry a horse's skull, draped in a white sheet, decorated with ribbons and bells. Behind it, friends and neighbors would sing, chant, and recite rhymes, approaching houses uninvited. The goal? A battle of wits. If the household failed to match the rhymes, to answer cleverly, quickly, or correctly, Mari Lloyd claimed the house. The group could sing louder. The skull would be tapped on doors and walls. Sometimes, the noise itself was said to bring chills like icy fingers crawling up your spine. The folklore says, "The clever may save themselves. The foolish will feel her gaze long after she is gone." A winter ghost. Visualize it. A skeletal horse's head, grinning, glinting in candlelight. A white sheet, flowing, brushing against snow and stone walls. Bells jingling softly, or perhaps too loudly, echoing in the empty streets. There is something uncanny about Mari Lloyd, neither fully alive nor dead, neither cruel nor kind, just persistent. In a sense, it represents winter itself, relentless, clever, unpredictable, always knocking at your door when the nights are longest. The Mari Lloyd reminds everyone, even in holiday cheer, winter tests you. If you are slow, careless, or unprepared, it may not be kind. So as you decorate your tree, or hang stockings in a warm room, remember Wales, a skeletal horse, bells ringing, moving silently through the snow, searching for those who are not clever enough. The snow is deep in the forests of Alsace. The wind whispers across the rooftops, and somewhere, in the shadows, a figure watches. They call him Hans Trapp. Not a child's story, not a fable for fun. A man, once alive, now a phantom of punishment, a harbinger of fear in the dark of winter. Hans Trapp was said to have been a cruel, greedy man in life, a farmer, an outsider, a miser. When he died, his spirit did not rest. Instead, it became a warning to children. Naughty children, lazy children, children who refused to obey. On snowy nights, he is said to roam the villages, draped in black, carrying iron chains or a heavy wooden staff. His steps are silent, yet they echo in the minds of those who hear them. And if a child misbehaves, and Hans Trapp would reach through the darkness, drag them from their homes. Sometimes he was said to eat them. Other times, he would leave them terrified for years to come. Hans Trapp and the spirit of winter. Hans Trapp is more than a monster. He is the dark consequence of winter idleness. He reminds villagers that winter is not gentle. Snow can freeze the body, darkness can freeze the mind, and negligence can be punished by more than frostbite. In some stories, he travels with a group of spectral companions, their chains rattling like storm winds across the valleys. And in the morning, if your chores are unfinished, your family knows Hans Trapp has been there, leaving behind an empty hearth, Peckius. Or worse, the echo of a child's scream carried on the icy wind. So when you think of Christmas in Alsace, with candles flickering in windows and carolers singing softly, remember the warning. Even in the heart of celebration, Hans Trapp walks, silent, black, relentless, waiting for the lazy, the naughty, the unprepared. And somewhere, in the forests under the moon, his chains jingle, a sound that means winter is watching. 6 monsters, 6 stories, from the Alpine peaks to Icelandic volcanoes, from the forests of Wales to the villages of Alsace. Christmas is not just lights and laughter. It is a season of shadows, of warnings whispered through snow, of creatures watching your every move. Krampus drags the naughty. Frau Perchta punishes the idle. Gryla hunts through blizzards. The Yule Cat waits for the lazy. Mari Lloyd tests your wit. Hans Trapp stalks the careless. All of them born from fear, survival, and winter's cruelty. All of them reminders that even in celebration, darkness walks beside us. So as you hang your ornaments, wrap your gifts, and light your fires of Rastus. Remember, in Europe, Christmas has always been a battle between light and dark, and the dark never rests. If you think these European monsters are frightening, wait until you see what haunts Asia during the winter season. From icy mountains to bustling cities, ancient spirits and terrifying creatures await. Subscribe, click the bell, and join us in the next episode, where the snow is colder, the legends darker, and the monsters are closer than you think.